To Those Who Nourish started in 2022 when Daniel and Alon were commissioned by FRONT Triennial to create a work that was inspired by the health of the lake. In its current moment, Lake Erie suffers from deoxygenation, and most of the pollution that comes into the lake comes from agricultural runoff on like an industrial scale. Many large farms use heavy chemical fertilizers that completely like draw out the oxygen from the lake. And so To Those Who Nourish has been a long-term project to connect farms together that are very intentionally both nourishing people in their local communities and in turn also nourishing the health of the lake in the future. And so bringing all these 5 farms together has been such a beauty and such a treat.
When we bought our farm, we did not inherit it. We saved and we bought our farm ourselves. When we purchased it, it had been in corn production for 4 years in a row. Then somebody didn't do anything to the soil and they planted like a really terrible hayfield. All of the nutrients had been mined out of the soil. And so when we started, it was how do I get nutrients back into my soil and how do I keep them here? It was basically how this whole thing started. And I'm a science teacher and everything's an experiment and everything's a trial and error. So that's kind of what we've done over time is how do we replenish the soil, create a healthy system without synthetic fertilizers. So we kind of wean the whole place off it. We have microbes growing in the soil. We have water retention just based on our practices, our managed intensive grazing of our animals. We don't buy fertilizer. We probably produce 3 times as much forage for the animals as you could with like a traditional farm, just with rotating different species through and just creating more of a natural system and ecosystem. And it works. It's really, you can just watch it happen. You're watching everything become more healthy, grow better, and produce better food for everyone.
This project is complex like me, but it's about bringing more balance to the area. So for this project, we wanted to do a couple things. One, we wanted to build a fence to start protecting our food. We haven't been able to really grow food like we wanted to the last 2 years just because of the large deer population here in the inner city, if you can believe that. But the deer are eating up all our food, so that's kind of prevented us from growing a lot. But putting a fence up is one of the first things that's going to help us start feeding people better. And then also in the project, we went down to Ridall, learned how to make soil properly. So we've added that to our repertoire, but we've increased it more.
We actually have done a lot of things to help with our food system here on the farm. One of the biggest things that we did was we don't till like we used to. When we first came out here, we were real big on tilling, going deep into the earth, so that we thought that it would help with our planting and planting. But as time went by, we learned that we were disturbing the carbon print of the soil and that we didn't have to dig as deep, that actually we could use like our grandparents, like my grandparents did many years ago. We can use our shovels to turn the dirt over, to turn the soil over and get the same results, if not better.
A lot of the farms didn't know each other very well by name or by people, and they're all like such powerhouses in their communities. And it was really beautiful to be able to not only imagine how best to uplift what they're doing individually, but also how to have something like this, how to have a true celebration, and how to bring people into a project that's very different, looks very different from a lot of art projects and like art exhibitions that people might normally think about.